Welcome to Fox Netball. It's the Collingwood Magpies up against the West Coast Fever. We are down at the Silverdome in Launceston. It is the Magpies' final ever game in Suncorp Super Netball. And they're coming up against the West Coast Fever, who are finals bound. We don't quite know yet where they're going to be placed in that Final Four. I'm Bianca Chapman, and joining me in commentary is Maddie Brown. Let's take a look at the Woolworths team cards, Maddie, for the Fever.
Well, they're starting off the way that we know they would have tonight. Which not shying away, Dan Ryan in the pre-game was, I'm not shying away that we need to come here and win. We want a consistent four-quarter effort, so a really strong lineup there for them with their powerhouse shooting forward and dynamic defensive duo. For the Magpies, we see a shift in that mid-court. Brazel going from wing defence to centre. Maddie Hinchliffe coming on and getting that start at wing defence. And everything on the line for the Magpies today. So much emotion. So what else have they got to lose? Nothing, but just enjoy every moment of this.
There is Ash Brazel's wife, Brooke Brazel, and little Brooke coming out onto court to deliver the ball to the Verity Simmons for the West Coast Fever as the Magpies take the court for one last time. Anstis through to Ariang. Teague Neal, who is back in great form towards the end of the season.
Very patient road to goal there for the Fever, having to move it around. Not as easy as they maybe would have liked on that first centre pass.
We spoke about it pre-game. Molly Jovic for the Collingwood Magpies is out. She had surgery on her broken wrist during the week. Sadly, she can't join her team, but she is here in Tassie. Brazel straight to Nelson.
Sighted it, saw it, let it go. Beautiful delivery there into the space.
Head to head, these teams, 15 games have been played. The Fever, 11 wins, the Magpies 3.
The biggest thing is this first 10 minutes for the Magpies. They need to stay in the contest. We know how strong and dominant the Fever can be in the Power 5. So that's a great release from Sophie Garvin early on. They're isolating Nelson under the post with Bruce.
Teague Neal fires it through. Ward with an early deflection. Jodie Ann Ward, top 5 in the league for deflections and number 1 for intercepts. She certainly has been getting some brilliant intercepts during the games.
Contact, goal attack.
Interesting to see just there on that centre pass, the Fever setting up a wall, so Magpies deciding to go back door just to give that a little bit of space and depth down court. So it'll be interesting to see how they play because we know how dominant Brown can be on the first phase and Garvin on the second.
Garvin. Short miss. Gets another opportunity. That's her first for the game.
Contact, wing defence, goal third.
Contact call against Maddie Hinchliffe. The Fever step it forward very calmly, but Jodie Ann Ward anticipated that one.
That little bounce pass on the floor, straight to her nearly, and a really good transition by the Magpies. Couple of passes down and straight into Nelson.
There's the coach of the Collingwood Magpies, Nicole Richardson. Oh, Kelsey Brown just looked like she went over on her ankle, but she seems to be back running around. The Magpies, they're out by 1. Glasgow, quick 1-2 with Simmons. Ward is really getting into the action early.
She is, and you can see a little bit of hesitation from those feeders with the ball in hand, and that's the difference between, Jiva Mentor nearly getting a tip, but the Magpies playing with so much freedom, and yet the Fever having to kind of feel that weight and pressure on their shoulders because they have to deliver tonight.
Wing defence contact.
Brown under all sorts of pressure from Jess Anstis.
Just not enough on that feed, as you see on the Harvey Norman replay. Too far in front for the defenders. As Garvin slots another one in. A great start from her.
Contact, wing attack.
Anstis strong on the centre pass received. The Fever through Simmons.
Contact, goalkeeper.
Fowler steps forward.
Magpies.
See Ariang sinking back into that circle, trying to force that double, but Sophie Garvin, really good entry point for her, not staying too far out as that third feeder, getting in and drawing. Is missed from Nelson under the post.
Let's get across to Caitlin Bassett. What are you making of the Magpies in attack? So strong so far.
Yeah, they are. And for me, it's the work that Sophie Garvin is doing out in front. She is making the moves. She is free and open. So I'm loving that when she's getting the ball, she's taking, she's turning to post and really giving the best opportunity. And down the other end, Jodie Ann Ward is doing an incredible job at helping her team out too.
The Magpies defenders are on fire. 2 rebounds already. And Brown just throws it around to herself, can't secure it. And the Fever, they're away quickly.
Contact centre. That's it.
Glasgow. 2-hand, puts the feed in.
Much better feed, high release.
Magpies.
Just see in the Harvey Norman replay, Sasha Glasgow gets a little tip to it, and all Fever's around to pick up the scraps. But it's that feed for the Fever and just a hold from Fowler to just wait for the ball to be lifted above her head and then snatch it in nice and strongly.
Brazel lifts it high.
Keeper, push.
And it is a penalty against Bruce. Nelson will get to set up. Garvin takes the shot. And the Magpies, they're out by 2.
Contact. Goal
Strong take from Fowler. She was under all sorts of pressure from her Jamaican teammate. But opposition tonight, Jodie Ann Ward.
Goal defence stands still.
And although there's a massive height difference, Jodie Ann Ward can get up. She's got some hops on her to get up to those high contests.
Fowler makes it count. There's the West Coast Fever coach, Dan Ryan. You get the feeling they're on a mission tonight, the West Coast Fever, and they really want to execute what their game plan is going to be come finals.
And that was a really good defensive play for the Fever there. Setting up this box, you can see them trying to shut down that middle. That's what the Magpies don't have, is that release through the centre like other shooting lineups. They get forced wide, holding there, just not the right pass.
Really smart footwork from Courtney Bruce. The way she manoeuvred around the body to cause the hesitation. And the Magpies, they're back through Brown, up very high. But she's got the speed, and look at her turn on the power now and take the Fever defenders away. It's a similar start to how we saw last week against the Vixens. That first half, the Magpies were so dominant.
But it's quite interesting, both these teams start off really strong and then tend to fade out into the third and fourth quarter.
Underneath, goal defence contact. Magpies
Really good quick
pressure.
hands from Simmons and Teague Neal there.
1 goal of difference here at the Silverdome in Launceston.
Forced to go back door, the Magpies, with too much on that depth pass from Hinchcliffe to Brown. I think it'd be great for Brown to go and then pop back. That's probably the safer part for Hinchcliffe to deliver. It's not something that she's probably used to receiving from Maddie.
As Simmons pops one in the face, she regathers, and easy play for the West Coast Fever.
Fever.
There's a real, it's not slow, but it's just calm and quiet out there right now.
Barnington Fraction goal shooter.
Brazel goes to Brown. The Magpies finding an option, but Courtney Bruce,
Throw in, Fever.
deflection to her name. She gets tangled up with the Fox Sports crew.
She's in the lighting.
Yeah, she's trying to take over hosting.
Centre contact. Just here.
Check out the jostling for position in the circle.
Obstruction is shortening.
Bruce not happy with the obstruction call, but Garvin resets over the top to Nelson.
Two
Another
misses.
miss. 2 in a row for the Magpies, and the Fever They will punish you.
Great long release from Bruce. Finding Fowler.
Obstruction, goal defence at the edge. Move back.
The elusiveness of the defenders for the Magpies has been great. They're hedging at every ball. They're not getting caught on the body, which is where that hesitation on the pass is coming. It's not going in as fast. Sometimes the Fever attackers might have to put in a balk or reassess or go a different way.
Brown just, it looks like the same spot on the court. She's gone over twice, just uncomfortably on her ankle. We'll just keep an eye on that one. She seems okay. Cross to Garvin, puts it straight up, much better positioning from Nelson.
That's what I want to see from the Magpies. Just keep the ball going, keep the ball moving, keep finding different avenues, and then that nice long release into Nelson.
Kelsey Brown's alerted the umpires to that spot on the court.
What's wrong with the ball?
The last two centre passes she's received. Let's have a look at this. See that, the slippery court surface. It's good to see Kelsey getting her hands dirty. If you miss net points, do you get for mopping, I wonder?
Yeah, not sure what the stat for that is.
Ward, a quick deflection, but gathered up by the girls in green.
Time, wing attack, you're out of play.
Scores are even here in Launceston.
Contact, holding, wing defence.
There's a lot of body pressure on every single ball, so not a lot of prelim work.
Barney's obstruction, wing defence.
And we're
Contact centre.
nearly in the Power 5. We know both teams can really use the Power 5 if they want to shoot a Suncorp super shot or not.
But the dominance of the Fever compared to the Magpies this year is exactly ours. A miscommunication from Teague Neal to Glasgow there.
Everyone looks a bit in shock at the moment as to what's going on out on court.
A lot of puzzled looks everywhere. Garvin really high up the court.
Ward to Garvin. Ariang though,
Throwing Magpies.
look at that speed.
I mean, this is really an away game for both teams because they neither really know the court that well. Yes, there might be some friends and family amongst the crowd, but it's not really that home feel. So it's probably that's where that uncertainty is maybe coming for both teams, just trying to settle and find their feet.
Caitlin, I want to ask you, you're sitting right near Dan Ryan. There's been a few puzzled looks. What is the feeling like on the Fever bench right now?
Yeah, he's definitely a little bit quiet than what he normally is like. Focus is what he's asking for his players. I think there is physical out there on court. There's lots of deflections coming, just not lots of gathers off those deflections. So, yeah, we both know that these two teams can start well, but who is going to push and break the momentum here?
Brown straight to Nelson. Sophie Garvin leading the way in the Nissan net points.
3 Magpies, 2 Fever.
Just over 3.5 minutes to play in the first. The Magpies, they're out by 2. Teague Neal finds Fowler, who's left on her own because all the attention is on Sasha Glasgow.
Magpies fully denying any opportunity to take a super shot.
Garvin, Razzle, stops and steadies.
Magpies happy for maybe a 1 again. Can Nelson keep it in? She seems hesitant on the shot because of the defensive pressure from Bruce. So it's a strong high lean.
The Fever through Simmons, back to Bruce. Anstis trying to gain some forward momentum.
Contact, goal defender, body. Goal third. That's it.
Fowler sets and shoots.
Both teams really going through the traditional kind of system structure. One gets a centre pass, next one gets a second phase. Have a depth option, have a wide option. Can Sasha Glasgow? Yes, she can get that super shot. You talk about that patience with the ball, but there's just needs to be a little bit more spice or fire. Who's going to, as you said, who's going to start to push ahead even in this first quarter?
Fever with the last 3 goals. They're now out by 2.
Wing defence, contact, goal, third. Goal defence, contact.
Contact call against Ariang. And Garbin steps forward, our Nissan Net Points leader. She nails the shot. Simmons only eyes on Sasha Glasgow on the centre pass, and Jodie Ann Ward has all the speed to keep up with her.
Contact the attack, centre third. Contact centre, you can't push.
It's a contact call against Verity Simmons. Ash Brazel just really standing strong. Former teammates Brazel and Simmons. They played with the West Coast Fever together for many seasons.
I would have had some nice tussles at training, I'm sure. Both really physically gifted athletes.
Great mates off the court as well. Scores are even. We've got just under a minute to play in the first.
Oh, Sophie Garvin threads a needle through the Fever defence to Nelson. I'm actually loving seeing her sit a lot deeper on the centre pass, not getting so high up. She can be that really good connection point for them.
Which is pass on the Harvey Norman replay.
Causing contact in attack, centre third.
Eyes down, feed it in, absolutely.
Contact.
Hinchcliffe, hand in to disrupt the play, but Fowler finishes it off to bring scores back to even. 20 seconds to play. Hinchcliffe over to Brown. Garvin, strong lead up the centre. Across court they go. Bruce is hunting. Not enough though to interrupt the Magpies as they take a 1-goal lead.
Can she hold on to it? Oh, Jodie Ann Ward goes long.
Huge from Jodie Ann Ward, but not enough time on the clock to be able to add to the scoreboard. The Magpies, they're leading by 1. The round 14 matches continue tomorrow. It's the Queensland Derby. Both teams in form at the end of the season. The Sunshine Coast Lightning and the Queensland Firebirds on your screens at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live and exclusive right here on Fox Netball.
Welcome back to the Silver Dome in Launceston. It's quarter time, brought to you by Origin, and the Magpies are leading the West Coast Fever. I'm lucky enough to be joined by Magpies mid-quarter Molly Jovic. Molly, first of all, tell us, what have you done to your arm?
Yeah, it looked a bit dramatic when I fell. I rolled my ankle, landed awkwardly on my wrist and ended up needing surgery, got a plate and some screws in there. So yeah, I think at the time it didn't really look like much, but I did a good job of it.
Of course you did. Look, it's been an emotional lead up. Tell us what it's been like being around the team this week.
Yeah, I think it's been an emotional few weeks, and if anything, it's just brought us all closer. So yeah, this week, this game is going to be super special, and I'm just glad I can be here on the bench with the girls, and they've had a great start, so can't wait to see the next 3 quarters.
It has been a great start. Tell us, what does your team need to do to get the win today?
Just keep doing that, really. They look really calm in attack, and they're putting pressure on the Fever girls in their attack. So yeah, as long as we keep that up, we should be all right.
Thanks for joining us, Molly. Good luck for the game.
A very confident Molly Jovic in what she's seeing from her team. The Magpies, they are leading by 1. And Ash Brazel will get us underway in the second. We did see that incident with Molly Jovic, Maddie.
Yes, I did.
It looked like there was a lot going on, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And I even called her a drama queen, but she looks like a tough cookie with that arm in his sling.
I was wondering if you're going to admit to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't worry, I sent her a message during the week. I was like, I'm so sorry.
Brown goes up and over the top to Garbin.
Good screen there by Nelson. They're working so well together. You just see, like, as I said, this freedom to just play.
Smart decision-making from the Magpies.
Awesome feed on the Harvey Norman replay. Great take close to the post for Garbin.
Simmons to Teague Neal.
That was much better play from the Fever. Alice Teague Neal dominating the middle channel. They've been caught a little bit wide, but when she's in the middle, she's that focal point. They can just hit her 1-2, keep that ball moving.
Brazel again. They find Nelson, that connection, we always talk about it, but it's so strong, and they're really making Courtney Bruce work.
And she's slightly, Nelson adjusted her hold a little bit, waiting that little bit longer. She was coming off a bit early and allowing Bruce to turn her shoulders and roll on her. Magpies come up with another gain. Ooh, and a little bit of emotion there from Brazel.
Frustration on the face of Ash Brazel.
Getting the gain, but falling out of court. It does make you wonder as a player. You're like, I don't aim to fall out of court. I don't know how I got there.
Teague Neal goes back to Ariang. The Magpies, they're sitting off. They're waiting for an opportunity. Glasgow sitting out wide. The pressure is on the Fever.
Just doesn't look like they're moving as well in the attack end for the Fever. It's really stagnant. It's one off and then the other. It's just not that kind of multiple options working together as one. It's just isolated movements. So I'm sure they'll be wanting to come together a bit more cohesively in this quarter.
There's one goal in it as the Magpies through Hinchliffe. They get it to Brazel. Courtney Bruce is having a crack at everything.
And she's the barometer for them, for Fever. Bruce, last week she got 4 intercepts in the first quarter, set them right up.
The crowd not happy with that, but it was a fair call, it looked like. Fowler. Build. You hear it from Coach Dan Ryan. There's the gains. Jodie-Ann Ward sitting on 3, followed by Bruce and Anstis.
That build, I think, is him yelling about that pressure. To be in the contest, to get some ball, it's got to be building of it. It's just too easy for the Magpies. 3 passes in there straight to goal, where you see here in the Fever, great defensive pressure from the Magpies, making them go laterally. They're just not finding it easy to penetrate and punch down court.
Using nearly all of their 3 seconds. Another penalty against Jiva Mentor. And Glasgow will step up. Step up to step in and deliver it to Fowler under the post. It's Fowler's 15th goal. Simmons leading the way with the feeds. Ward to Hinchliffe. Oh, great ball to Kelsey Brown.
She went wide, it was really good. She looked wide, she came straight back to the middle. And a huge smile on the coaches there for the Magpies. What a pass, Maddie Hinchliffe, straight in.
Norman replay, timed it to perfection. Teague Neal has the luxury of going up in the air if she needs to.
As I said, it's kind of that split circle in the defence end for the Magpies, but it's going forward and back, and rather than side to side, really creating that confusion in the feeders' heads as to where they should be placing that ball.
The 2 Jamaicans on court leading the way. 16 to Fowler, 15 for Nelson, and of course the Jamaican team, the Sunshine Girls, they've named their team for the World Cup. Shimona Nelson has been named as a reserve. Romelda Aiken-George, Janelle Fowler have both been named in the side.
Jodie-Ann Ward for defence.
Defensively, Jodie-Ann Ward is in there too. The World Cup coming up starting July 28th. Maddie, you will be over in South Africa, and all the action will be live on Fox Sports.
Every single game, live and free on KO.
You are going to be very busy.
I love my netball, Bianca. I love my netball.
Anstis, Teague Neal, up that middle channel that we hear Dan Ryan talking about so often. There's not even the urgency to really chase up the ball at the moment. It's like, oh, we'll wait for it to get back to us.
And the crowd is quite lulled at the moment, even though it's really close. When the Magpies do something good, it's up and about, but there's just kind of like this stillness within the arena right now. Might need to go out there and do a breakdance, Bianca. Bring some vibes.
Brown back to Hinchliffe. Brazel eager to get going. Garvin across court, up to Nelson.
Obstruction by defence.
To even the score. 22 apiece.
It's like old school netball. It's just that 1-point shot. It's to the tall shooter going back and forth down both ends.
Teague Neal picks up the scraps, gets the feed in.
Fever's second quarter is usually their best. They've won 10 compared to the Magpies 5. At this current time, we see the live ladder and Fever are sitting second right now. We know that it is a must-win for them to have that second chance.
Going into any final series, that second chance is so important, let alone in this topsy-turvy season we've had where upsets are plenty. Anstis to Simmons, cross to Teague Neal. Fowler with her arm up in the background.
They're really hesitant to go long to her when usually we see them get it off the centre pass and look straight in down the guts to her under the post. It'd be great to see Fowler maybe demanding that ball a little bit more, saying pass it in. If you've got a really good strong hold, tell them to put them in. Tell them to sight you a little bit earlier.
Obstruction both players. Bunnings moving off centre.
Garvin wants it back, delivers it across. And it's a stepping call against Courtney Bruce. She's so close to so many balls. You get the feeling in the second half, this is when she's really going to be securing possession.
And that's the difference between like a good and a great player. As you see Sophie Garvin here sitting top of the Nissan net points, and Ward, Brazel, Bruce and Answers. But the reasons defenders are good and the reason defenders are great is when they stay in that strategic structure for a little bit longer and be patient and not go out of it and think, oh, I get so frustrated.
It is a HCF tactical timeout. The Magpies have called it, the first one for the game. A chance for everyone to reset. We're going to take a listen in to Coach Nicole Richardson.
So just here with you guys, and you can stab at the last. While it's the 1-point time, hedge Sasha, but always with the mindset you're going to play back on Jay, because what I reckon we do is we challenge Sasha taking the long shot in the 1-point time rather than closing her down there and then Janelle getting it under the post. Obviously when it's the 2-point time, then you switch it back the other way. Okay, keep hedging with your feet, not your upper body, and don't get too wide with your base support. Okay, right idea, when you attack that front line ball, make sure you take an extra step and you run through. After you've done your job here, your job's not over. So your mindset needs to be, you've always got to get between post and your player, right? Post player, push them back up the court. Let's go.
The control and the patience is good, all right? Keep playing it to our game, right? Making sure we attack some defence. Let's have everyone on full court now. Let's go. Keep it up.
Well, listening into the Fever huddle, Dan Ryan going straight away to his attacking end saying, hey guys, you're putting too much reliance on waiting for that front ball. There are some other options. While you're waiting for the front, have a check because Janelle Fowler is back there. So have a look potentially going forward if there's a few more balls launched into the circle.
Maybe that's the confidence they need to just sight it and actually release it because they're a bit hesitant to make that mistake because the game is so close.
There's one goal in it and just over 6.5 minutes in the second. Remember, this is the final ever time we're going to see the Collingwood Magpies in Suncorp Super Netball. Anstis resetting back. They go straight to Teague Neal, who looks up to Fowler, but Jiva Mentor, if you don't put enough on it, she'll get a hand to it.
Working it in for that little 1-2, bit closer to the post.
Brings out the shuffle shot, Glasgow.
Just not enough on that feed.
It's a really flat feed, isn't it?
And it's a two-hand release. Sometimes we talk about that high one-handed. Can elevate and give it a bit more arc.
Simmons was at her very best last week. She had the most goal assists out of anyone in the league, 29 and 99.5 missing net points. Brazel tries to steal it off Teague Neild, but it was a strong take in the end. To put the Fever out by 1. The trusty hands of Janelle Fowler. Look at the Harvey Norman replay here. Oh,
she was close.
It was a very tight contest. Brown to Garvin. They look across the circle. And Nelson was fighting off 2 defenders.
Nice little tap on the leg there. Yes, I was physical, but I'll stand out of play. You got to see that. You can see that little bit of enjoyment and love, and there's a held ball there for the Fever.
Scores are even here at the Silverdome. Garvin again, brilliantly placed to Shimona Nelson. The Magpies are really loving being out there. You can feel the joy in this game for them. There's our Harvey Norman replay. Look at the height of that ball, and again we see it.
See that mismatch, obviously. Bruce coming out to hunt, Ariane having to go back. Garvin saw it and was like, I'm going to send it down to you, Shimona.
Magpies out by 2.
Huge feed from the transverse line on the Harvey Norman replay.
We are in the Power 5. Let's see how Fever play it. Do they settle for 1?
Magpies completely shutting down that 2-point option. They know Glasgow's the go-to girl.
Look at the live ladder right now. The Fever are down by 1. And if this is how the scores stay, they will miss out on 2nd position. On the ladder, they're sitting in 3rd right now. As the Magpies, well, through Ariane, she says, I want that 2nd spot. Look at that Sunday, Ariane. This time, got herself in the right position. Plenty of time to get up to the ball.
And yes, it was on the first time, but sometimes you've got to be so unpredictable and go a different option or a different avenue in, and then go back to that long court option when it's on.
There's the Fever shooting stats on your screen. Coach Dan Ryan would be very happy with the accuracy, I'm sure. They will just want more of it. Fowler for 1, goes straight to Glasgow. The strength behind that pass. They know what they want. Can they get it?
Double jump by the Magpies creates an airball shot.
And Fowler's out of play. Great defensive pressure from the Magpies. One thing we haven't even touched on is the strategy from the 2 coaches, probably 2 of the most strategic and tactical coaches in the game, Nicole Richardson and Dan Ryan. Brazel, what will the Magpies do? Bruce puts the pressure on Garvin. Garvin for 2. Nails the Suncorp super shot.
There you go. Sophie Garvin enters the super shot zone and nails it.
Sophie Garvin playing with so much confidence and just with a big smile on her face. It's so great to see.
And just seeing what this Magpies team is doing right now, it's sad to see that they just won't have any more time together to maybe even build and see what this group was potentially capable of doing.
Brazel has to get into the right position. Then Garvin to Nelson. And Nelson can't hold on to it. So the Fever, they get a chance.
Really uncharacteristic misses from Nelson. And they're close range shots.
The Magpie shooters sitting in the low 80% shooting. Fowler, will she go for 2? Back out to Ariane. Teague Neild finds the option. I get the feeling they want it to be a bit further out though.
But it was low, fast, sharp, straight in. Dan Ryan did say, if the option's there, just give it. Keep the ball moving. I think they're holding onto it a little bit too long and sometimes missing the right option that's right there in front of them.
1 minute to play in this first half. 1 goal the difference.
Magpies defence doing such a good job.
Fowler evens it out. Garvin on her own. The tactics from the Fever defenders. They're cutting off any player that runs into their space.
A 2-point shot here from the Magpies.
40 seconds on the clock.
Would be a great way to go into halftime, potentially 2 goals up, 2 points up.
Here we go.
Oh, Sophie, you're letting us down.
Nelson for 1. The Magpies take the lead. 20 seconds, plenty of time. Coach Nicole Richardson is out of her seat, willing her players on. Brazel knew she was just a second too late. 14 seconds. Simmons to Glasgow. Fowler, arm in the air. And that's how the Fever will finish off this first half. Scores are even here at the Silverdome here in Launceston. A brilliant performance from the Magpies in their final game. Welcome back to Fox Netball. We're here in Launceston and there is some incredible moments that happened pre-game. Ash Brazel playing her final ever game for the Collingwood Magpies. All their friends and family of the players, everyone has filled out this stadium, and what a performance so far it has been. Scores are even. Now we're going to take a look at some of the memories of the Magpies over the years, and it's quite fitting, Maddie Brown, that I've got you sitting next to me. You were in that inaugural team in 2017. You moved across from the Melbourne Vixens. What was it like playing in that first game and being a part of the club that first year?
Well, I think the team was touted to be quite successful early on, and there'd been some big names, take some huge sacrifices to come from some clubs and come across to play for the Magpies. You look at that first team and there's some huge names there, but
Shani Norda, Caitlin
absolutely. Ash Brazel, Shay Brown we saw in the stuff, and then as the years went on, unfortunately it was the pressure of being part of that club that started to take a toll, I think, on some of the playing teams.
And Caitlin, you played against some of these superstars, but you were also rumoured to be in that team. Is that true in that first year?
Yeah, look, I did go and have a meeting with the Collingwood Magpies, and straight after I went and met with the Melbourne Storm, where I saw Nolene Tarua, and obviously the rest is history. But yeah, look, playing against the Magpies for me, it was always a danger because they had so many superstars in their team. You just knew when they put it together they were absolutely going to give it to you. So some fantastic battles across the year. Sad to see this club no longer being around, because I think the fear that it instilled in so many players just coming up against the name Collingwood is what really helped them at times.
There just seemed to be, though, this pressure that the team always seemed to hold on their shoulders, that they had to be part of this culture, that people either loved you or they didn't like you.
Well, look, as we see the Magpies in their meeting room, their last time they're going to have this halftime chat from Coach Nicole Richardson. If we turn our attention to some of the superstars that have played for the Magpies, we're going to focus on Ash Brazel to start with, because she was there in that very first game. She was also there now in the very last game. What has she meant to the Pies?
Well, I mean, she obviously came across from the West. She was the captain over there, came across to the Magpies. She's not only played some incredible netball matches, but it's been also what she's done for the AFLW team as well. Cross code, I mean, it's outstanding that you've been able to do it. She was phenomenal. Obviously, I know her as an opponent, had to come up against her. So even at training, we had some really tight tussles, but she's always worn her heart on her sleeve, I think, Braz, right from the very start to the very end. And it would be a fitting way to obviously send her off with one final win, I think.
I think for me, we saw she's had raw athleticism and talent from a young age, but at Collingwood she really developed those skills. We saw her debut for the Australian Dome. She started in her debut, which never happens. So incredible athlete, which we saw her really grow, not just in her leadership, but her skills, and she's turned into such a mature leader and player out there.
And this is probably one of her proudest moments, being able to share this sporting glory with her family that she's created with Brooke.
Loves being a mum. All right, another great player, Shani Layton, or Shani Norder as she's now known. She came to the Magpies in 2017 from the New South Wales Swifts. She was the golden child.
She was. She came with that booming voice, that a bit of obnoxious play, but look at her. She always had fun. She always wore a smile on her face, and when playing with her, she was always the one that you were like, thank goodness you're on my team because I don't like having to play against you. But she stood for something more than just netball, and she was never afraid to voice that. And she stood strong for the black and white, and it was a pleasure to play alongside her.
And plenty of Diamonds have also played for the Magpies. Think about Natalie Butler, also Erin Bell. Caitlin Bassett, I want to go to you. Who's somebody, another superstar that you can think of that has played for this club?
Well, I promise she didn't pay me, but it is the woman sitting next to me. Not just her, not just Maddie Brown, but Kelsey Brown as well. For me, the Brown sisters, when you did get to play together, absolutely incredible. Gives me vibes from Von Berto days with two players just absolutely knowing each other's game inside out. While you did have similarities in your gameplay, I think for me what really stood out towards the end was Kelsey was really the zippy, super speedy fast one, but you were the one, I guess, with brains who maybe slowed the ball down, who set her up. But you played to each other's strengths absolutely perfectly. It must have been a pleasure playing with her.
Thank you, Seabass. I will pay you later.
As we see Kelsey on the screen, when Kelsey made the decision to come to the Magpies, was it you convincing her in the background? Come on, let's do it. Let's be a double act out there.
Well, a lot of people said, you're silly, Maddie. She's going to come and take your position. And I said, I'm not fearful of that competition at all because I saw that there was that opportunity for us to play together. And you talk about that instinct of knowing where each other was going to be on court. And it was only 7, but it was 7 of the best for me. And I absolutely loved it. And it's been a privilege, I guess, to sit courtside and also watch her kind of pave her own journey, not just alongside me or behind me, but on her own terms as well.
And you personally, what's some of your special memories from the Magpies?
Well, I definitely think the very first game that we had, that Melbourne derby, and although we lost it, it was obviously incredible to run out there in the black and white stripes. You know, the Melbourne crowd, there was so much tension. We did lots of little pre-game stuff, and that was a huge honour. And knowing that you were the first people to ever play for the club as a foundation Melbourne was incredible. The second thing for me was the first time we got to sing this song and play up in Queensland. This was our first win, and I think it was a bit of like that relief and kind of weight lifted off your shoulders because we hadn't won and we were touted to win and be really successful. These big names coming to the club and just not gelling. So to be able to win away, you can see just there Shani yelling at us. I don't know whether she's getting up and about or whatever. But then obviously, as I said, the song, to be able to sing it loud and proud, we know how important it is to the club's history. But when we first got to, listen to this, it's definitely evolved over the years, that's for sure. Look, I think the first song we sang, we were arm in arm, and look at this, we're taking off shoes, we're banging whiteboards, we've got eskies, water, everything thrown around. I think it's been amazing how they've taken it on.
Certainly very different, isn't it, to how they do it in the footy. Oh, my goodness. It has been an incredible moment for the Magpies. Let's turn our attention to the West Coast Fever because this is a big game for them. If we look at the ladder, obviously scores are even. They'll be sitting in second position right now, but they really want that double chance. It's super important, isn't it, Seabass, going into finals?
Yeah, we know how tough this competition has been. The top 4 in particular, anything can happen, as we saw today. Adelaide Thunderbirds knocking off the New South Wales Swifts. So any opportunity they'll have, not just to play once, but to play twice to get into that grand final will be important.
Everybody will be keeping an eye on the ladder and the games from the final round of the season. The girls have brought their best to the court tonight. Woolworths met with our SSN stars off the court to find out how well they know their fruit and veg. Take a look at how they got on and be sure to get involved.
Welcome to the Woolies Pick Fresh, Play Fresh game. What percentage of our bodies is made up of water?
Over 50.
Correct.
Yes!
True or false? Carbohydrates help give you energy quickly and easily. True. Yeah. Test your knowledge on the Woolworths Pick Fresh, Play Fresh Hub for your chance to win great prizes.
Hope you're enjoying your Saturday night netball here with Fox Sports. We're at the Silverdome in Launceston. It's the Magpies and the West Coast Fever. But coming up tomorrow, we have the Queensland Derby. It's the Sunshine Coast Lightning up against the Queensland Firebirds. Both teams in incredible form as they come towards the very end of their season. No finals for these two teams, but it will be very interesting to see how this one plays out. And of course, we've had some action already this weekend. Before this game, it was the Swiss and the Thunderbirds. The Thunderbirds, 3-goal winners, and then scores are even here. Then it's the Lightning and Firebirds, followed by the Giants and the Vixens. Plenty to play out this weekend to decide those final 4 positions. Let's get across to the West Coast Fever coach, Dan Ryan. Dan, thanks for joining us. What did you make of the first half?
Yeah, pretty close. I think we're in and around the mark of where we need to be, but I know there's a huge shift required for us in this second half. So we'll see what kind of an impact Kim Jenner can make at goal defence and just try and make a few more gains defensively, I think, really importantly.
And Dan, in attack, it looks a little bit disjointed at times. You've spoken about work rate and I think being in the middle channel. What else are you hoping from that attack end?
Yeah, we've got to trust each other a little bit more. I think their defensive style's been really different to what we've played the last couple of weeks, and we're probably just taking a little bit of time to adjust to the offline and, you know, the flying and hunting mentality of the Magpies defence. So we just need to work our way through it. It might be a bit clunky, it might be a bit ugly, but as long as we score, that's okay.
Now, second halves aren't usually your forte. You usually start the game really strong. How are you going to take this away and make sure that you obviously secure that second spot now?
Yeah, third quarter's a big one for us. We were very good last week in this third quarter period, and we need to be again today. So hopefully we can really step up in this third term. How
are you enjoying Tassie, Dan?
It's cold.
We'll let you enjoy the second half. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers.
Nelson to Brazel. Out they go. They want it to go up and over the top. As you heard Dan Ryan mention, the substitute, thank you for bringing the substitute for us, Dan, has been made. Jenner into goal defence.
Which swings Ariang over to wing defence, and Ansters moving to centre, and Verity Simmons go to the bench. As he mentioned, they just weren't firing on that connection. Usually Simmons and Fowler just straight away on song, but a little bit disjointed tonight.
We often see Kim Jenner injected into the game, either at goal defence or wing defence, the versatile player that's come from Queensland.
Miss from Glasgow, but she gets a second opportunity by getting the rebound.
Jenner has taken part in 10 games so far this season. Garbin. Brown goes long. She wants it in the pocket.
Keep our contact. One back shooter.
It's a contact call against Bruce.
Both players. Obstruction.
You wonder how much Fever will be focusing on their penalty count. 3 weeks ago, I think they were in the 80s for penalties, and they've managed to reduce that every game since. Back to their best last week. Ansters to Teague Neal. Also another change. Simmons is off the court. And Jess Ansters has been moved into the centre. Sunday Ariang across to wing defence.
Glasgow just not confident on the shot, trying to shake it out a little bit. Take a deep breath. You spoke about that contact penalty. Fever is only sitting at 23 at the moment, but they average around 50 for a game. So they're below, even though it's only been half a game. So they still need to stay in it because they need to generate that pressure to be able to get some more gains. Hand on that ball is Corny Bruce. Tries to find a way.
Very unlucky. And the short one, the quick one between the Magpie shooters takes them out to a 2-goal lead. Actually, I can't do my maths, it's only one. Fowler gets taken down from Jodie Ann Ward. Lucky to see the smiles, though, between the two of them.
Bit of friendly fire for the Jamaican Sunshine Girls.
If you look at the Harvey Norman replay, she just could not get her feet together to be able to
Well, to be
control
honest, you got to give her that in a way, Jodie Ann. She usually thinks it's pretty high up. She didn't expect her to catch it so low.
Just launched herself up in the air.
Bit of a piggyback ride. Thanks, Fowler.
Glasgow steps across. in the safe hands of Fowler. And scores are now even.
The Magpies have been really good in their conversion of their centre pass. They're sitting above their season average, where compared to the Fever, they're sitting below in percentage of conversion of their centre pass. So you think about it, you obviously get every second part. You want to actually convert that, and your gain ball are your bonus one. So Magpies doing so well to stay up in that high percentage rate and scoring so well off their centre pass.
The high fives around for the Magpies in attack. They're getting excited. They're liking what they see. Teague Neal looks long. Good option. And scores are back to even. Really hard for either side to break away.
Goal defence contact.
I really love that as we look at the circle feed. Simmons, who's obviously sitting off, but Teague Neal and Brown, the dominant wing attacks for both teams, doing a lot of the work. But you just see that even contribution also from Garvin and Brazel for the Magpies, and that's why they're in this game. It's not predictable coming out of the hands of Brown all the time. It's multifaceted, and that's probably what's getting the Fever defenders off guard and not being able to come hunting at all.
So much harder to shut down when there's plenty of options. Anstis quickly moves through court. Glasgow fires through.
ISO ball, let's go! Work, 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 work!
You hear it from Coach Dan Ryan. Work, work, work. Nelson snatches it in.
Throw in. Straight up. Obstruction.
Keep an eye on the tussle between the Fever defenders and the Magpies attackers. And great hands from Jenna.
And it just shows sometimes for teams, when you're in the hunt and you're in the game, little things start to fall your way. A lot of times with the Magpies, we see those little tips and taps coming from defenders, and they just don't seem to be there to pick them up. But the confidence, and as we've already mentioned, the freedom that they're playing with is just allowing some of those calls to go their way or fall their way.
Teague Neal. She looks like she's in a bit of pain.
Hold time, let's have a wipe, please.
As the mop is called out onto court to wipe it down. Teague Neal reset. She's got a bandage on her arm. I don't know if she caught one in the jaw.
It was a shoulder to the jaw. She went to dodge, and Hinchcliffe stayed still, and she ran into her shoulder. I should also mention Alice Teague Neal here. She went to go and then came back, hit the shoulder, head. There you go, head, side. We should also mention Alice Teague Neal was a foundation member of the Magpies as well. So although she's heading into finals with the Fever and has been a pivotal part there, I'm sure she's sad to see the Magpies fold today as well.
Let's get across to Caitlin.
For me, I've started to notice both teams extremely aware of when the mismatch is happening in the circle. So for the Fever, when Jodie-Ann Ward is getting caught back on Fowler, Dan Ryan is screaming to his team, put it in there, and the vice versa. When Nelson is getting caught on Jenna, they're looking to exploit that too.
I really enjoy your quieter voice, Caitlin, when you know Dan Ryan can hear you.
I'm scared.
Nicole Richardson with a stat to her name.
She would love to don a dress, let's be honest. She'd be out there if she could.
Fowler steps across. She's double defended, one at the front, one at the back. This time, it counts on the scoreboard. It's 40 apiece. Garvin fires one in.
It's been a real attacker's game for both teams, with the momentum shifting at times, even though the scoreboard is that you feel like one team's in control, but the other team's just chips away. It's real attacking focus. Limited games for both teams when you think that Jiva had 7 on her own and Bruce had 9 last week alone, and yet they're only sitting at 3 for the Magpies and 5 for the Fever.
And a big one for the Magpies last week, 54% game to goal. And at the moment, that's something that they actually have improved on. As Ward, again, that mismatch, she nearly pulled it out. Teague Neal keeps the ball in play, but goes over the sideline. Look at Coach Nicole Richardson. She's in the coach's box. She's up and about.
Well, as we mentioned, games are few and far between, so you've got to make it count. And this is a really good moment, a clutch moment for the Magpies to get it down in transition and score off it. Really good angles and ball speed there. Fever just coming down way too fast, couldn't fly for anything.
Let's take a look at the Nissan net points. Sophie Garvin, what a performance from the Magpies goal attack. Last week, she was at 50.5 Nissan net points at the end of the game. Dominating this game here in Tassie. Brown, cross to Garvin. Quick play, there's super speedy in getting it to Nelson.
It is the angles, and we did mention about it, the Brazel and Brown connection. We haven't seen it that much, but it's been around for quite some time, since 2019 now. Oh, Maddie Hinchcliffe comes up with one.
A win for the Magpies. Can they make it count?
Oh, and you can just see that experience starting to rise to the top now for the Magpies.
4-goal lead. The biggest lead to the Magpies so far this game. Brown, cross to Brazel. Nelson's arm in the air. Not quite in the power 5. Brown sets herself on the edge. A fake one way, up in the air, catching the Fever off guard.
And no surprise, a HCF timeout called by the Fever. They need it. They need to get back to their groove. They look really hesitant as you see Dan Ryan speaking to Verity Simmons.
We're going to get our microphone into the Fever huddle. Let's take a listen into Coach Dan Ryan.
Going to bring her into wing attack. So have a concentrated effort on mixing up who's on first and second, all right? And if it's on second, just use your pace to get that connection going, all right? Really important. Play the 1-point range. In our super shot here, Jay will play the 1-point range, work your perimeter, but think about your 45s and you guys opening the edge of the circle, all right? So don't conglomerate around the top of the circle. Make sure we've got some pockets happening as well, all right? Really important, all right? Okay, let's go, guys, everyone in. Okay, really important again, find that extra energy, take on your own opponent, do your own job here, end-to-end connection in this super shot period time, all right? Let's find something, guys, we got it, let's go!
Fever 3, 1, 2, 3! Fever!
Listening into the Magpies huddle. Interesting to hear Nicole Richardson telling her attacking end. She's really happy with the ball movement and what's going on there, but make the ball work. It's not about running around and changing positions. Those angles that you were talking about earlier, Maddie, that's what's really opening things up in their attacking end to keep that going.
Same was said in the Fever huddle by Dan Ryan. He said, let the ball do the talking, work the pocket ball, work the top ball, let those triangles do the work so that Glasgow can hopefully open up on the perimeter and score some 2 points in this last 4 minutes of the game.
Fowler steps forward. Not enough on it, but Glasgow flies up in the air. Mentor cheekily has a go from behind. That's Glasgow's 4th goal. Ward, back to Brown. Cross to Hinchcliffe. And Glasgow fires through.
Great pick-up, Ash Brazel. Came through 2 Fever opponents, but they cough it back.
The urgency to ball. The Magpies have to be winning that stat.
Contact, goalkeeper.
Fowler just happy to chip away at the ones.
Back to within 3. Look at the Harvey Norman replay here. Glasgow, it's a Simmons Simmons v Brazel, but Brazel's speed in her final game for the Magpies. Magpies netball, that is, as you heard us say pre-game.
Too much on that feed. Mentor and Ward pick up the scraps.
Even the teamwork between the defenders. Ward knew if she picked it up, it was going to be a replay. Mentor right there for her.
Sophie Garvin being instrumental in this attack, and here we see in the Harvey Norman replay, tip from Mentor. Dan Ryan not happy.
There's the pickup stats. I thought it would be Magpies leading the way, but the Fever have got them by one. Brazel, Nelson, one-handed, snatches it. You must be loving what you're seeing from the Magpies tonight, Maddie Brown.
I am. I mean, it literally warms my heart to see them putting out a performance like this. As we said at the top, why not the Magpies tonight? They've got nothing to lose, everything to gain in sending themselves out like this. And you can see the fear and that the Fever are playing with. They're just not confident.
One thing we haven't spoken about is just the travel for West Coast Fever to get here. Not an excuse for them, but it is that extra effort to get down here to Tasmania. Obviously, the cold, as Dan Ryan said at halftime.
I did speak to Dan Ryan and he said it was a 9 to 10 hour travel day, let alone getting here really late at night. It's a 4-day turnaround total, especially before going into finals.
Ash Brazel just constantly talking to her shooters.
Lapping it up.
2 minutes to play in the third. Remember, the final ever game, we are going to see the Collingwood Magpies out here on court in Suncorp Super Netball. Simmons. Easy one to Fowler. Fakes it out to Glasgow. It's a good way to get all the Magpies defenders off you.
But it is, it's the use of the fake. It's faking one way and then hopefully opening up another option.
4 goals in it. A minute and a half in the third. Garvin has a lot of space to really do the playmaking out the front. It's not attracting a lot of attention from the Fever defenders.
And because she's being dominant on the scoreboard, they have to go and man her up. They can't just leave her there and expect, oh, Jodie Ann Ward! Yeah, she gets it. Comes up with a tip and then gets a contact call on Jenna.
Ward, 3 intercepts, 3 deflections. She is having a phenomenal game. Brown to Garvin.
4 games to Jodie Ann Ward, 3 to Bruce. And Hinchliffe in there, I just really love her patience coming out of transition for the Magpies. She's been solid with the ball in hand. She looks long. She's doing a real grind on the wing attack, obviously taking Alice Teague-Neal to the bench and then bringing Verity Simmons on in wing attack, which is not where we usually see her.
No better compliment for a wing defence than to get your opposition changing over on you, trying to find an option. Maddie Hinchliffe, she's played in 6 games for the Magpies this season, but was very dominant at Team Girls Cup in pre-season. Cross court to Brazel. Over to Garvin. Suncorp super shot for Sophie Garvin. No, she let me down. It was a pass.
Or just a really good cover-up by Shimona Nelson to get the rebound and score that one under the post.
With the Magpies, they are leading the charge here in their final game. Don't forget, coming up, we've got an exciting year in netball. It's the Netball World Cup starting on July 28th. All the action live right here on Fox Sports. We can't wait to watch it.
Oh, Lizzie Watson, another win.
Playing for your country. It's what you dreamt of as a kid.
Watson, what a brilliant intercept.
It is a rich history of success. We have never missed a World Cup final.
The world netball crown stays in Australia.
We thrive on this pressure.
One to win it for Australia.
Our Australian Diamonds putting it all on the line.
Chasing gold in Cape Town. The Netball World Cup.
With access like you've never seen.
And behind the mic, World Cup winning diamonds to bring you every second of the action. Right here on Fox Netball.
Welcome back to the Silverdome in Launceston. It's Origin three-quarter time and the Collingwood Magpies are leading the West Coast Fever by 7 goals. Having a listen into the Fever huddle, and Dan Ryan, very animated to his team. He's talking about this is not the way that Fever play. This is not up to their standard. In defence, they need to go back to tough one-on-one, and in attack, they need to make sure they are working their asses off. Not exactly up to their standard. I cannot wait to see the rest of this last quarter.
You're not wrong, Caitlin Bassett. The Fever, they know the pressure is on them in the final quarter. But the Magpies, they're enjoying every minute of this, and so they should. It is the final quarter. We will see the Collingwood Magpies out on court. The final chapter closes, and they would love to finish it with a win. And the Fever would love to finish it with a win to try and secure that second position. Maddie, Coach Dan Ryan, he's reverted back to his starting 7.
He has, and with obviously that chat that Seabass was talking about at three-quarter time, I'm not surprised that he's gone back to this lineup. If any team's going to get him through for this win, it's this team that has obviously known each other so well. Those combinations are tested and true, so go back to what they know, what they're comfortable with, to try and get them into some really good, confident playing form.
The Fever down by 6. You saw the live ladder, currently sitting in 3rd position. The Magpies out by 7. Simmons looks up, goes across. Balks aplenty for the West Coast Fever as they get it to Glasgow for her 5th. Brown. Strong lead from Garvin as she swings it across the circle. Ariane gets in there. There was a tip on it from Bruce.
Nelson missed time to jump, but still comes up with it.
Huge smile on the face of the Magpie shooter. You create your own luck, don't you? They've got the momentum their way. Tigniel, 1-2 to Glasgow.
The sneaky tip from Mentor at the back.
The pressure is really on from behind, and it is worrying the Fever shooters.
And we know how dominant they can be when it comes into the power play, but they haven't looked comfortable at all tonight. So Magpies need to own this final 10 minutes in the last quarter.
It's a contact call, huge call against Shimona Nelson. Bruce coming up with an early win. Ariane held the ball for a long time. Simmons to Glasgow. Tigniel.
Magpies have done so well with that hands over pressure, but the second Fever get to that circle edge, to that feed, it's over. So it really is about the pressure and presence that they can set and push them up higher at the court, create that separation between the middies, and even drawing Fowler out like this, creating that separation, having to reset. Great work, Magpies defense. Oh, Jodie Ann Ward. She's having a day out.
She sure is. The Magpies out by 4. The Fever slowly bringing in that scoreline. A positional swap between Ariane and Bruce. They're back out onto their play. Interesting to see that height mismatch again back in the circle.
And smart play by the Magpies. They know it's on and they could deliver it, but they're like, you know what, we've got to play efficient netball in that possession.
Sophie Garvin leading the way, 94 Nissan net points. Followed by Glasgow and then Brown and Fowler and Brazel rounding out that top 5.
Surprised not to see Jodie Ann Ward out there. She's getting her hands on absolutely everything.
Glasgow, quick one to Fowler. There's 4 goals in it. as Glasgow accidentally cops one in the face. Brown.
Oh!
Huge feed to Nelson.
I even brought that candy. It was going to the corner and then it was straight down the guts.
Fowler, unusually, out of the circle. Simmons steps across. The force behind the ball, got it to Fowler. And the Magpies play on quickly.
Great work. They went for the long one and then patient once again, chipping the ball away. They've just got so many options, the Magpies. They're flowing down court so freely in attack. On the flip side, Fever seem to be struggling at times, having to go backwards, coming forwards, going sideways. It was a better avenue to post.
Caitlin, I want to come to you. You're a former goal shooter. What do you want to see from Fowler and Nelson? What's going to really be the game winner here?
Yeah, look, I think for me, what Jiva Mentor is doing such a good job is pushing Fowler up high. You know, we mentioned before she was outside the circle, which we don't normally see. She is not comfortable shooting those long-range shots, so what a great opportunity to push her out and force her away from the post. But for me, Nelson, when she's strong, when she's dominant, when she takes the ball with two hands, she will get a penalty every single day of the week. So whether the ball is 100% or it's a 50-50, she needs to make sure she gets that ball.
Don't give Sasha too much room. I want you to come through
tactical
it.
timeout.
Soph and Cal, can one of you get straight to Vezi? One of you get straight to Vezi, so if that we're cutting off that next ball. Yeah, so maybe mix it up so it's not the one person doing it the whole time. And it might be like you can either go to her to close it off or go to her and hold off and then run through the line of the ball to entice the pass. Okay, let's go. Put down hard.
Awesome work, guys. I wasn't in it then, so it's going to go for another one.
Let's go. The Magpies take the court in this final quarter. They're leading the West Coast Fever by 4 goals. The reigning premiers, the West Coast Fever, who are going into finals action after this round 14 clash. The Magpies, they won't. It all finishes here for them. But so much confidence coming out of the Magpies camp. Bruce flies, Brown gets it to Nelson quickly.
It was a great ball. It was a cross court, which is usually an absolute no-no, but it was high enough that it took Bruce too long to come out and left Nelson right under the post on their own.
Defensive pressure all over the court from the players in the black and white. The Fever struggling to get it forward. Ash Razzle in her final ever game of netball in Suncorp Super Netball. 1 intercept, 3 deflections, 14 goal assists.
The Magpies are really going in defence with that snowball effect. So one goes, if you can stay in play, then the other one flies, and that will hopefully generate that gain ball possession. So keep watching that, especially in transition for the Fever.
Razzle flicks it over the top, but Courtney Bruce, what we've come to know from the Australian Diamonds defender.
We spoke about that patience. She hasn't got a lot, but when it counts, she gets up there. This is a telling time for the Fever to score off this one.
You certainly have to respect the opposition. And the West Coast Fever, they know how to win. It might not be their prettiest game so far tonight, but they certainly know how to close it out when it counts. Eight minutes to play in the fourth. Glasgow wants to get in comfortable position.
Jodie Ann Ward getting up to some high balls.
No one to back her up, but Glasgow takes the shot. Look at this. Ward, I mean, 2 hands, she would have had it.
And it was court possession to Fowler.
Teague Neal goes up and over the top again. This time, all the pressure out on Glasgow.
Big effort, guys! Let's go!
Here we go, Maddie. 2 goals in it. The Fever scored the last 3. Hinchliffe back to Ward. Now it's the Magpies struggling to get it into Nelson. Bruce
doing absolutely everything she can to try and will her team back into this contest and get some hand on ball.
That's what you want to see from your captain. Garvin smartly gets it there, but Bruce looks like she's injured her hand. She's in a lot of pain as she shakes out her finger. It's good to see that there is a bit of a smile amongst the grimacing. Look at the Harvey Norman replay. She just got it caught.
That's a bit of a...
Still behind play. She's shaking out her hand. But Glasgow gets on with it.
Just feel like something's coming from the Magpies. But Fever just still chipping away, getting it to post. It's like it's getting down. The anticipation is building.
We could have another Suncorp super shootout, Maddie, on our hands. Brown to Garvin.
Circle edge, that's better from the Magpies.
Brazel twinkled toes onto that circle edge. Allowed her the easier feed. Look at the shooting stats from the Magpies players. Nelson at 92, Garvin at 81%.
Magpies starting to sink down into that box position. They really need to keep that hands over pressure because that's what was working for them in the first 3 quarters to really slow up the Fever's penetration and punch down into that attack end.
50 from 52 for Janelle Fowler. 30 seconds until we get into the power 5. 2 goals of difference. Nelson fights with Bruce to get the rebound, and Bruce, she fist pumps. She loves what she's seeing.
It's a win. She'll take it however it comes.
The wins are starting to come for the Fever. 2 goals in it.
A sea of black as the Fever just look down, and it is just black and white dresses everywhere.
Here we go. We're in the power 5. Fowler will step in, secures the 1, and brings her team back within 1. We've only had 2 Suncorp super shots this game. 1 to Garvin, 1 to Glasgow.
And Magpies once again shutting down any access to Glasgow in that perimeter to shoot the 2-point. It is a draw. We are level.
The crowd, they're starting to get involved. Nelson takes the Magpies out by 1. Look at the breakdown on your screens. It was the Magpies in the first quarter, the Fever winning the second, the Magpies the third. Who will win this final quarter and the game? The Fever are definitely leading the way so far, and scores are tied.
You wonder again, Dan Ryan spoke about Fever only had 4 losses this year and they've all been by 1. So in this moment, it'll be interesting to see how they play it out. Can they release some of that tension and play with a bit more freedom to take some risks still? Or do they seize up and go on to those previous performances and go, we know what it's like in this situation and we haven't been able to secure it yet?
The test is to come. Oh! Simmons and Glasgow take each other out. Glasgow took a while to get up, but she's back on court. The Magpies.
Nothing like a hit, but a hit from your own teammate.
They couldn't see each other coming.
Magpies happy to continue to tick it over with a 1.
Let's look at that Harvey Norman replay here. Simmons was completely blind to Glasgow flying through. It shows the desperation to have the ball in your hands.
Oh, and a little hold on Verity Simmons' shoulder there. Looks a little uncomfortable.
It is a HCF tactical timeout. It's been called by the West Coast Fever. We'll take a listen in to Coach Dan Ryan.
First ball contest, everything we're going for, all right? In this front line, gonna have to go for some super shots, all right? So you 2 guys open up the circle for Sash, play your 1-point range, work the ball out, all right? Let's be brave and go for it, guys. doing a bloody brilliant job, right? Awesome job. Really, really good. Yeah, let's go for it.
You can see the live ladder on the screen at the moment.
Right,
with the Fever down by 2, they're sitting in 3rd.
Right, so we're going to have to be brave and bold to win this game, and we're all prepared to do it. All right, let's go for ball in D. Let's attack our post down in attack. Let's go for it.
Fever 3, 1, 2, 3! I love that from Dan Ryan. Be bold. Don't be afraid to take this game on. We just need to continue to attack when we've got the ball in hand and just be relentless and ruthless in defence. So the Fever definitely know how to do this. But this year we've seen them fall a little bit short, obviously, by those 1-goal losses. But love that he was positive in that chat, instilling that confidence. We've got this. You're doing so well. Let's continue to build and be brave.
Be brave, be bold. The Magpies with the last 2 goals. They lead by 2.
Confident feed, Brown to Nelson. It's sad that we won't potentially see that again.
The tale of the 2 coaches, Dan Ryan looking very frustrated. Nicole Richardson enjoying every second. Look at her up in the coach's box at the back of the screen. Teague Neal, Fowler takes control for 2.
Oh!
Across to Glasgow, it slips out of her hands. Fowler, will she shoot it? She wants to give it to Glasgow.
Mentor, unlucky then, doing so much work. Her footwork was great. Glasgow!
Far too much on it for Sasha Glasgow. The looks on the West Coast Fever face is a huge disappointment. But the Magpies, they're up by 3. There is still so much time to play. 2 minutes 15 on the clock is plenty for the West Coast Fever. Kelsey Brown to Brazel. Magpies just use the time, they take a breath. Garvin, cross to Brazel, up, and a sneaky one over the top. It only just really
was
got
lucky
there.
to get there. Playing around the ball to try and take some of the clock off, but you still need to attack. It's your centre pass.
Madison Brown, there is a 4-goal lead to the Magpies on that scoreboard.
My heart is racing.
Both the Magpies shooters have been performing tonight.
I mean, I usually stay very neutral, but Magpies, come on.
And you have every right to. There's so much emotion in this game. The final ever time we will see the Collingwood Magpies. It's the final chapter. And they lead the West Coast Fever, the reigning premiers, by 5. Teague Neal goes long. Fowler will want 2. Glasgow, she sets.
Wasn't confident.
Can't sink it, but the ball back in Fowler's possession.
Fans of the Magpies knowing exactly what they need to do here. Fowler!
Janelle Fowler.
Watch the Magpies absolutely freeze the clock here.
3 goals in it. 37 seconds on the clock. Garvin, strong take, back to Ward. The Magpies, they want to enjoy every
This is a drill.
A training drill to end by Marianne. She's not letting them get away with it. But there's far too much on the pass. And the Magpies, what will they do now? What a moment for the players in black and white. The coaching staff, the bench, everyone is standing. The whole stand is on its feet.
Wow, wow, wow.
The fairy tale finish.
Let it go, Josh. Come on, we're singing the song.
The umpire is trying to pull the ball back and say, we're not done yet. There's a second on the clock. As this plays out, the siren sounds. Good old Collingwood forever. All the stands here at the Silverdome And the fans are on their feet. Maddie Brown's on her feet.
Thank goodness there's not a camera in this ball.
What a way to finish.
Such an emotional game. There was so much riding on this.
Diva, thanks for coming across to Tassie to play us. All the best for your finals campaign, and thanks for sending us out on a good one. Just the way that you guys carried yourself over the last couple of weeks, like absolutely phenomenal, and credit to the team that you are and the people that you are. We do have a present for you, Brazzy, but it's not here right now. But also to Brazzy, a bit of a full circle moment, finishing against us. Can't wait to see what your next journey takes you.
Thanks, Val.
Can we join in cheers with you? I forgot it. Three cheers for everyone! Hip, hip, hip!
What a beautiful moment. Both teams celebrating each other. It's a strange round 14 game. Ash Brazel, former West Coast Fever captain. She played there for 5 seasons. So much respect for each other off the court. As we see the Magpies just really soak in the last time they're all going to be out on court together. Their co-captain, Jiva Mentor, defensively, what a game it's been from her and Jodie Ann Ward.
Phenomenal team effort, really. And Sophie Garvin came out to absolutely play today. 113 missing net points. Phenomenal effort. But you look at the emotion on these girls. Some of these players, as you said, have played for many, many years, but we'll never see these combinations again. So what a way to finish for this group.
The signs in the crowd. Thank you, Brazzy. Thank you, Pies. Let's get across to Caitlin Bassett, who is amongst all the action.
That's right. I'm with our MVP. She's getting a huge cheer from her teammates right now. Congratulations, Sophie Garvin. You just handed the reigning premiers their biggest loss of the season. How does that feel?
Yeah, so good to finish like that. Fever probably didn't want it that way, but yeah, just super proud of the girls. It was such a team effort. The last couple of weeks have been crazy for all of us, and to send Brazzy out like that, she's been, Brazzy, to send Brazzy out like that, she's been amazing for this group, and I just love her so much and wanted to make it special for her, so I'm so happy we got that done.
Well, we're going to flick back to you for a minute. Your work rate outside the circle, centre pass receives feed, absolutely incredible. You had 2 different defenders on you tonight. Tell us about the work rate that's needed for 60 minutes at goal attack.
I think, well, you know what it's like playing with Kelsey Brown. She does a lot to help you. I think, the last couple of years we've really worked on our combination, and obviously being a natural shooter coming through the pathway, having to learn GA a bit more, a lot more running involved, but I feel like I can still bring my goal shooter game into that and use that as a bit of a strength.
And emotional for so many reasons tonight. You mentioned Ash Braz. How great was it to be able to send her off in style?
Oh, I'm just so lucky to have played with her, but not that have her a part of my life. She's such a beautiful person, and I think everyone can see that on the outside, and I'm just so grateful to have this opportunity to play with her and see out her last game.
Well, congratulations. Absolutely brilliant match from you guys, and congratulations for sending the team out on a high.
Thanks, Seabass.
Sophie Garvin, a very happy Sophie Garvin. And really, what a performance from her as she's celebrated by her teammates. But, you know, she's had to ride this wave big time this season, hasn't she, to get to this point?
She's had a lot of ups and downs, and we've all been quite, I guess, talking about her performances every single week. And, for her to go out like that, I think the whole team, it was a true Magpies team performance, which we haven't seen consistently enough in the history of their 7 years. But for them to know all the tumultuous, roller coaster ride that they have been on, as you see them going to clap the fans, their family, standing ovation everywhere. Like, they deserve to go out on this because they have paid quite a toll the last 5 weeks or so.
Anyone who's
Weave on!
to finish for the Collingwood Magpies.
They were balling all right, that's for sure, today.
There's Jackie Newton. Didn't get on court in tonight's game, but has played this season and for the last couple of seasons with the Magpies. Jodie Ann Ward, the Jamaican who we'll see at the World Cup, but she has really been one of the most outstanding performers for the Magpies in the last few seasons, and a combination with mentor.
Scary to think what some of these international players are going into a World Cup in such great form.
Let's get down for our post-match presentation with Ash Adoni.
You are an incredible person, player, teammate, and here we are. Special moment for you. What sums it up?
It's just pretty much a surreal moment, to be honest. Playing against a club that gave me the opportunity to be the player I am today. I started my career as a centre with Fever. I'm not a fan of centre, and here I am playing centre against them. So, yeah, it's just a full circle moment, and like in the end, a fairy tale ending. I know we're going to celebrate like we won the grand final because we pretty much beat the team that are looking like they're top. So, for us and to the team, the fact that the whole team have handled themselves really well over the last 2 months, it's been heartbreaking, super emotional, but the fact that we've stuck strong, it's probably the best 4 games I've played over the last 4 weeks, so just super proud of my players.
And you can hear the appreciation from everyone in this stadium. You are so important to everyone, but I know you'd like to thank some special people along your journey as well. So I'll hand the microphone to you. You can take it away.
Thank you. Should have written a speech. Truly, thank you so much to the Tassie crowd. Obviously, we love playing in Melbourne, but coming out here is just unbelievable. I think every time over the last 7 years, we've only lost 1 game here, so we definitely feel like we've got an extra player on the crowd. My family have come across to Tassie to watch my last game with the black and white. Here's my family here. And for me, just personally, it's not about me, it's our last game, but I couldn't have done it without my wife, Brooke. She sacrificed so much for us to move to Melbourne and for me to live my dream. And we've ended up 7 years later, I've reached every goal I've wanted to reach, and we're driving back to WA with 2 extra people in the back of the car. So I couldn't have had it any other way, but to play in front of you guys means the absolute best. So thank you so much for coming out tonight, and let's party!
Couldn't have said it better myself. Pies fans, you've been absolutely incredible. This game was the loudest all season, so thank you for, of course, coming along tonight and bringing the energy, because that score right there is all thanks to you. You got us over the line, so thank you so much. Once again, stick around. The players will be signing autographs, having photos for the next 15 minutes.
What emotional scenes here from the Collingwood Magpies. Ash Brazel with her beautiful kids, Louie and Franca, out on court. That is her final ever game in Suncorp Super Netball. She's retiring from the sport at the end of this season. Well, the final whistle has sounded on the era of the Collingwood Magpies in Suncorp Super Netball. We'll bring you along for a very emotional, I'm sure, post-game show with plenty of interviews, reactions and thoughts from the court.